Google Ad Services. Boost your business with expert PPC management. B2B buyers moved online, and paid search captures the moment. If your B2B team still treats Google Ads as a nice-to-have, you're likely leaving qualified demand on the table. Gartner projects that by 2025, 80% of B2B sales interactions will happen in digital channels, and that shift changes how pipeline gets created. When buyers self-educate first and talk to sales later, showing up on high-intent searches becomes one of the fastest paths to revenue. The buyer preference data makes the stakes clear. 61% of B2B buyers prefer a rep-free buying experience, and 73% actively avoid suppliers who send irrelevant outreach. That doesn't mean sales is dead. It means timing and relevance matter more than ever. Google Ads works because it aligns with how prospects actually behave. They raise their hand first through a search that signals intent. In practice, Google Ads is one of the few channels where prospects are explicitly asking to see vendors, pricing, and solutions. Roughly 63% of people have clicked on a Google ad, and ad clickers are about 50% more likely to buy than organic visitors. Exactly the kind of leverage B2B teams need when decision-makers have limited attention. The win condition is simple. Match the query, match the landing page, and match the follow-up. Why Google Ad Services are a revenue lever, not just a marketing line item. Google Ads can look expensive until you judge it the right way, by pipeline and revenue, not clicks. On average, businesses make about $2 for every $1 spent on Google Ads, roughly a 200% ROI, which means even modest improvements in targeting and conversion rates can move real revenue. For high-ticket B2B deals, paying $100 plus for a qualified lead is often rational when the downstream sales motion is tight. Benchmarks help set expectations and prevent panic optimizations after a week of data. B2B campaigns often convert around 3.04%, and well-built search campaigns can achieve strong click share when ads are relevant and specific. Across all industries, the average search ad CTR hit 6.42% in 2024, which is a useful reminder that copy, offer, and intent alignment still matter more than gimmicks. Here's a practical benchmark snapshot we use to anchor planning discussions with sales leaders, especially when you're deciding whether to build in-house or partner with a specialist. Treat Google Ads like a sales development engine. The biggest mindset shift for B2B is treating PPC as part of your sales development agency motion, not a standalone marketing experiment. Keywords, ad copy, landing pages, and SDR talk tracks should reinforce the same promise and the same next step. When we run Google Ads alongside our SDR agency programs, we plan the handoff like we would between an outbound sales agency and an AE team, tight, measurable, and built around revenue outcomes. Start by mapping intent to offers instead of forcing every click into book a demo. High-intent terms like pricing, demo, or category software should go to direct conversion pages and route to an outsourced sales team or internal SDRs immediately. Mid-intent terms often perform better with a short evaluation asset, comparison guide, ROI calculator, or assessment that sets up a warmer conversation for your cold calling services and follow-up sequences. Google Ads also pairs naturally with sales outsourcing because it reduces the cold in cold outreach. When someone searches, clicks, and fills a form, your reps can reference the exact problem they raised. Then use cold email agency and calling workflows to keep momentum if they go dark. That's how PPC becomes a predictable meeting engine, not by generating more leads, but by generating more leads your team can actually convert. How expert PPC management gets built and what to demand. Expert Google Ads management starts with structure and restraint, not more keywords. In most B2B accounts, we recommend beginning with phrase and exact match around the terms that signal buying intent. then expanding carefully once you have clean conversion data. Broad match can work, but only after you've built a strong negative keyword system and campaign structure that prevents you from paying for irrelevant traffic. Your messaging should be engineered to continue seamlessly into the sales conversation. Strong ads mirror the query language, clarify the outcome, and set a specific next step that your SDRs can repeat verbatim on the first call. The reason is economic. With B2B services averaging around $5.47 per click and $116 per acquisition, a close enough landing page or vague CTA can quietly burn budget for weeks. Operationally, the handoff matters as much as the ad. If you're serious about pipeline, route high-intent leads to your SDRs in real time and target a 5 to 10 minute response window so competitors don't steal the moment. For most teams, a meaningful test budget starts at $5 to $10K a month for at least 3 months, because you need enough volume to learn without constantly restarting the algorithm. The fastest way to waste Google ad spend is to buy the click and then fumble the follow-up. Best practices that turn clicks into meetings and meetings into pipeline. If you only track form fills, you'll optimize your account toward cheap leads, even when those leads never become SQLs. The fix is straightforward, but often ignored. Connect Google Ads to your CRM, import offline conversions, SQL, opportunity created, closed won, and optimize bidding to pipeline quality instead of vanity metrics. This is where PPC management becomes revenue operations, and where many generalist agencies fall short. Landing page discipline is the second lever. With average B2B conversion rates around 3.04%, you don't have room for mismatched messaging or a one-size-fits-all page. Keep the copy aligned with the exact keyword theme, show proof that matches your ICP, and ask only for the fields you truly need. You can enrich the rest with list-building services and data enrichment after the fact. Finally, run PPC leads through a purpose-built cadence instead of a generic nurture. PPC leads behave differently than cold outbound leads, so your SDRs should reference the search topic, the offer, and the expected next step in the first touch. At SalesHive, we build this into the same workflow we use for cold calling and email outreach. So inbound intent doesn't die in the CRM, it becomes booked meetings. Common mistakes that inflate CPL and how we fix them. The most common failure mode is optimizing purely on cost per lead. When your only KPI is cheaper leads, you'll often end up with a high volume of low-intent contacts that waste SDR time and damage your team's trust in PPC. Given that B2B cost per lead often hovers around $100, every unqualified lead is not just a metric problem, it's real budget lost plus real rep hours burned. The second mistake is slow or generic follow-up. Search leads are in market right now, which means sending them into an automated nurture without a fast SDR touch is essentially paying for the click and then gifting the deal to a competitor. A practical fix is to implement a lead SLA, require disposition reasons in the CRM, and review lead quality by campaign weekly with sales and marketing in the same room. The third mistake is account sloppiness. Broad match everywhere, weak negative keywords, and one generic landing page for all traffic. That combination quietly turns $5 to $15 clicks into irrelevant site sessions, low conversion rates, and rising CPAs. The fix is boring but effective. Structured campaigns by intent, aggressive search term report reviews, and landing pages tailored to demo, pricing, comparison, and problem-solution themes. Advanced optimization. Make Google Ads and Outbound work as one motion. Once your fundamentals are stable, Your next gains typically come from smarter bidding and cleaner segmentation. Move from maximize clicks to conversion-based strategies, then graduate to target CPA or target ROAS after you've imported offline conversions and can see which campaigns create opportunities. For competitive B2B categories, this is also where you can justify higher CPAs on pricing or demo terms because those clicks convert closer to revenue. Google Ads also becomes more powerful when it's paired with an outbound sales agency motion, especially if you sell into buying committees. You can use PPC to capture the champion, then use B2B cold calling services and targeted cold email sequences to engage additional stakeholders at the same account. This is the practical version of surround sound marketing. Ads create the opening, and your SDRs expand the conversation. If you're deciding between channels, it helps to use a simple intent lens rather than a which platform is better debate. Google captures existing demand, while LinkedIn is stronger for targeted interruption and account-based reach. Many teams run both, with Google driving near-term pipeline and LinkedIn supporting education and penetration. Here's a quick comparison we use when mapping budget mix. What to do next, a 90-day plan, and how to evaluate a provider. Google Ads can generate leads quickly, but meaningful pipeline insights usually take 60 to 90 days because both the algorithm and your sales cycle need time. Plan your first quarter around controlled testing, a few intent clusters, multiple ad variations, and landing pages that match each cluster. Measure the right outcomes early: speed to lead, meeting rate, SQL rate, then let revenue metrics catch up as opportunities progress. When you evaluate a Google Ads services provider, ask for proof of revenue alignment, not prettier dashboards. A strong partner will report on cost per qualified lead, cost per opportunity, and pipeline influenced, and they'll show you how negative keyword management, landing page testing, and CRM conversion imports drive those outcomes. If all you receive is CTR, CPC, and impressions, you're not buying PPC management, you're buying reporting. At SalesHive, our advantage is that we sit at the intersection of PPC and sales execution. We can run inbound intent capture and the SDR follow-up motion under one roof, whether you need sales outsourcing, an outsourced sales team, or a blended program that includes cold calling services and multi-channel outreach. If you're researching SalesHive.com, SalesHive pricing, or SalesHive reviews, the main question to answer is simple. Can your partner connect ad spend to booked meetings and closed revenue? That's the standard modern B2B teams should demand, especially as digital-first buying becomes the default.